Sasol was founded in 1950 to make oil from coal for the South African market.
Indeed. So those oil super majors do operate here in South Africa, but the inland region is supplied by Sasol's business, which turns coal out there in the Mpumalanga area into liquid fuels. Very impressive operation. But of course, now it's going global with its technology.
Market cap, we're sitting with 297 billion rand, a PE of 7.3 and a dividend yield of 4.49%. Now, this is, we're going to spend some time on this because I said BHP was one of the most loved stocks in the South African investment universe. In fact, I'm going to change my mind because prior to the recent fall, Sasol has always stood head and shoulders above other investment themes as a favorite. Do you agree with me?
Absolutely, because it listed at R2 a share back in the late 70s here in South Africa and went from there to its current level, which is 500 Rand. So it's really been a star investment within the South African equities environment. And it's played to its strengths very well. Had a tough patch when oil was like $10, $20 a barrel back in the 80s. But ever since China came to the fore and the whole commodities boom happened, Sasol's been a spectacularly successful operator. It's got wonderful technology. And it's an interesting and solid company that is a very sound dividend payer, very sound with its economics.
And a rand hedge.
Indeed. So it's got all of those aspects. People love it for those reasons. It's got a strong position here in this country. The oil and petrol price regime here is a bit complicated, but it makes a lot of money out at Secunda. The internationalization of the technology.
Before you get there, look at the share price.
Well, therein lies the problem.
Are we going back above 570?
So in that run-up in 2013, it's just good news. We're going to go to Louisiana. We're going to build a new plant. We're going to turn gas that's in America into liquid fuels there. We're going to become a wonderful company. ExxonMobil is going to write us a check and buy us out. Unfortunately, since then, it's got the perception in the market of having been a little bit at risk. It's canned or not canned completely.
It's pulled back on a lot of the capex that it was deploying.
Which it must, because at current oil prices, the margins are not nearly as attractive.
David Constable at the helm, a big international player brought in to internationalize the group.
Excellent executive, was with Fleur Daniel before, which is a global contractor in the oil and gas industry. Fabulous fellow, done a superb job. Worth every cent that the company pays him. The thing is, if the oil price remains as depressed as it is now, it isn't as valuable a company. The price has bounced. It's getting very close back to, let's show the chart now.
And you don't want to be caught in a position where you don't take advantage, if you believe that Sasol is one of those blue chips, you don't take advantage of the still relatively depressed share price, although, as you point out, we have seen that bounce.
So it's crawling back towards 500 Rand a share, and that would be fabulous if it was to get there. But the question really is, does it have the legs if crude oil settles back?
Do you believe it does?
I think you've got to be careful. You can see there's a couple of bounces, and that's because it's got a big fan base and people would love to see it succeed. It's still an extremely profitable company. Its dividend policies are still solid. It did recognize that there was a bit of cash flow pressure and indicate that it wasn't going to be quite as dividend
Can
rich
I put in one of
Trudem?
my biggest concerns with the stock is that it's at the mercy of external factors that can't be controlled by management, namely the oil price and the rand.
Exactly, and that determines its profit margins and always has, so there's no getting away from that. We loved it while it was moving northwards. We've got to just suck it up while it goes sideways. We definitely are long-term Sasol holders. We think it's going to go from strength to strength, but right now I think you don't buy new ones until such time as we see some conviction in the oil markets with regard to the price level.
Do your clients have exposure to Sasol?
We do, but we normally try to avoid having more than about 5% of portfolio exposure to Sasol. As far as the hot stocks account is concerned, we are not currently in Sasol and we won't be adding anytime soon.
Hot or not on Sasol?
So I think you've got to call it not hot now while we're in this wait and see phase.